You wake up with a small itch on your arm. It looks harmless. You barely notice it. By tomorrow, it could change your life forever. Not because of the bite, because of what came with it. The deadliest animal in human history weighs less than a paperclip. It has no claws, no fangs, no venom of its own. Yet it has killed more humans than every war ever fought. More than famine, more than earthquakes, more than sharks, snakes, lions, and crocodiles combined. It is the mosquito. That sounds impossible. How could something so tiny shape the entire history of our species? The answer begins long before cities existed, long before farming, long before the first written word. Mosquitoes have existed for roughly 100 million years. Scientists know this because ancient mosquitoes have been found trapped inside amber from the age of dinosaurs. The dinosaurs disappeared. The mosquitoes remained. When early humans began walking across Africa nearly 2 million years ago, mosquitoes were already waiting. Every sunset brought danger, not only from predators, but from invisible passengers carried through the air. A mosquito does not actually make you sick. It carries organisms that do. It is less like a weapon and more like a flying syringe. When it feeds, it pierces your skin with a bundle of needle-like mouthparts. Its saliva keeps your blood flowing. That saliva can also deliver parasites or viruses directly into your bloodstream. You never see them arrive. By the time you notice symptoms, they have already multiplied inside your body. How can something so small defeat an animal with a brain capable of building rockets? Because evolution does not reward size, it rewards efficiency. One mosquito can lay hundreds of eggs. Many species complete their life cycle in only a few weeks. Standing water becomes an entire nursery. A footprint filled with rainwater can produce dozens of new mosquitoes. Now imagine millions of tiny pools across an entire continent. That is an army no king could command. Among the thousands of mosquito species alive today, only a small number regularly spread deadly diseases. But those few changed history. The worst offender carries malaria. Malaria is caused by microscopic parasites from the genus Plasmodium. The parasite enters the bloodstream. Then it travels to the liver. It multiplies silently. Later, it invades red blood cells. The result can be devastating. High fever, violent chills, organ failure, death. For thousands of years, nobody knew why it happened. People blamed bad air. In fact, the word malaria comes from the Italian phrase mala aria. It literally means bad air. The real culprit stayed almost invisible. Everything changed during the 19th century. In 1880, French army doctor Charles Louis Alphonse Laveran looked through a microscope at blood from malaria patients. He saw something nobody had recognized before: tiny living parasites moving inside red blood cells. Disease was not coming from poisoned air. It was coming from living organisms. But another mystery remained. How were the parasites spreading from person to person? That answer arrived 17 years later. In 1897, British physician Sir Ronald Ross made a breakthrough while working in India. He discovered malaria parasites developing inside mosquitoes. The mosquito was not just biting people, it was completing part of the parasite's life cycle. Without the mosquito, malaria could not spread the same way. One tiny insect connected millions of infections across entire continents. Suddenly, history itself looked different. Ancient armies had collapsed after marching through mosquito-filled swamps. Settlements failed where mosquitoes thrived. Entire regions remained difficult to conquer because disease defeated invading soldiers before battles even began. Some historians estimate that malaria alone may have killed billions of humans throughout history. The exact number will never be known, but few diseases have left such an enormous mark on civilization. And malaria is only one story. Yellow fever traveled with another mosquito species. Dengue followed. Then came Zika. Then chikungunya. Different diseases, the same delivery system. A tiny insect carrying invisible passengers from one human to the next. The mosquito never planned any of this. It is simply trying to survive. Its success comes from following instincts perfected over millions of years. Every bite is part of an ancient survival strategy, and every successful bite gives microscopic organisms another chance to travel. You might wonder why we have never eliminated mosquitoes completely. After all, humans have landed on the moon. We can edit genes. We can sequence entire genomes in days. So why does this tiny insect still win so often? Because mosquitoes are incredibly adaptable. They survive in environments humans struggle to control. They hide in places we barely notice. A small puddle, a discarded container, a tiny pool of rainwater. Each one can become a nursery, a place where the next generation begins. A mosquito does not need a giant habitat. It only needs opportunity. That is what makes it so difficult to defeat. Humans build cities. Mosquitoes learn to live inside them. Humans move across continents. Mosquitoes follow. Our roads, our ships, our airplanes. Every connection we create can also create a path for disease. But humans are not powerless. For centuries, we have studied this enemy. We have searched for ways to break the cycle. One of the most effective tools is surprisingly simple: a bed net. A thin barrier between a sleeping person and a mosquito. Something that looks ordinary, but something that has protected millions of lives.